lot of times in life when chasing a dream, you're going to come across some obstacles. You're going to have people around you telling you that what you're trying to do is impossible. It's going to be people close to you telling you that. They're going to say it so much that eventually you're going to start to believe that. You're going to start to believe like you can't do it. Then you're going to have them times where you're going to try it. And you're going to fall. You're going to fail. You're going to pick yourself back up and you're going to try it again. But then you're going to fall and you're going to fail again. Then you're going to reach a limit to where you're just ready to give up. Because everything you tried is just not working, right? Wrong. You just got to keep at it. Let me tell you my story. There was a point in time where nobody believed in me. Everybody thought I was living out a fake dream. But I had to show them that this ain't a dream, this is my reality. And guess what? You can make it too. People not gonna believe in you until you believe in yourself. Just keep pushing. Have you ever had that feeling that life was just unfulfilling? More that you try to find it, the more that you got to witness the bush that you done been in. All the pain you done went through, I'm grateful for being here. But sometimes it made me resentful. I try to keep my peace and I try not to let it burn. I'm frustrated deep down inside cause I know what I deserve. But I'm still waiting on my turn. Failure is not an option. I gotta just keep my faith cause I know what my God has promised. I think the biggest frustration, knowing that you can make it, but still gotta be patient. What time is being wasted was making my thoughts hectic. My exes called me pathetic, dwelling all on the past while I'm just trying to forget it. Bypassing all these distractions, success all in my eyes. Being trained to fight this battle, a soldier that's on the rise. So I live up in the studio. These girls say that I'm corny. Gotta spend my time wisely. Got people depending on me, so you can say what you want, but I'ma do what I want. See, life is about taking risk and it's about time that I jump. Success is where I'm headed, but I don't think I get it. Spend my last on this ticket and I can't afford to miss it. I'm gone. I keep pushing, got my head to the sky, wondering if I ever make it there. Yeah, I keep pushing, gotta play the hand I'm dealt because I understand life ain't fair. Ay, so I push and I grind, and I push and I grind, cause I know one day it's gonna pay off. Yeah, I push and I grind, plus I work overtime so that my family has some days off. Hard work, dedication, hard work, dedication, hard work, dedication, hard work, dedication. Feel like I'm laced in heels, feeling like a dream deferred. I'm trying to keep it alive, but it's buried in its dirt. I'm trying to bring it to surface, I see a superstar, but I just need a second when Lord give me CPR. Mama, I promise that you will have a big house, a place that's out the hood, financial free where you can chill out. No more working at job, cause your bank account full. We living life to the fullest, everything is all good.
What's up? Episode 1, Through the Noise, Business, Life, and Lies with Trevor Steele. That's me. This is definitely outside of my comfort zone, so I'm glad to have my good friend Pat Clark here with us. I'm going to do a little quick introduction. If you don't know Pat Clark, you live under a rock. This guy is a legend in our industry, and I'm in the pressure washing industry. Don't let that fool you. We wear a lot of hats here at our office. But Pat Clark, first time I met Pat Clark was, give me a year, Pat. What year was that?
Shoot, 2007.
Yeah, 2007. So this dude shows up, man, and first of all, one of the most humble guys you'll meet, but on fire. There's just something about him. We just knew, right? Everybody that was considered themselves a part of the industry knew that Pat Clark was coming with some passion and some heat, and man, did he not disappoint. So I'm going to introduce Patrick Clark right now. Pat, welcome.
Trevor, I appreciate you, brother. Man, it's been a journey, hasn't it?
It has.
It's been an amazing ride. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears, like the grit, right? The grind of doing it, of not knowing, right? I know for me, like when I started my business, I moved to South Carolina. I was 20 years old. Didn't know anything about business, right? But shoot, I can clean a house. I can make some money. I can provide for my family. And I think growing up, though, in the trailer park, my mom would go downtown to the grocery store and we would sell shamrocks. We would fold up index cards. She would write a little note on there, like today's another wonderful day. God's good, right? And we would sell shamrocks, and she would be like, all right. And I don't normally tell people this, but she would call me Patty. So don't ever call me Patty, Trevor. But she would be like, Patty, like daddy, right? And so, we would go downtown, dude. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my whole life because, I'm in small town, Dover Plains, New York, and everybody went to this grocery store. There was like only one. And so there I am selling shamrocks. But it put me out of my comfort zone, you know what I mean? And I think that's where you really, your true talent will come out when you're right on the outside of like your comfort zone. You got to push. You don't know what you're capable of.
That's right.
And I saw my mom do it a lot. We didn't have a lot of money coming in. She lived off of Social Security. She was mentally ill, right? She had mental schizophrenia, and it was really tough, like super tough growing up. And I remember I just wanted to like make money to give my mom money, to help out with the bills or for gas or, whatever it was. And I don't know, it definitely changes your mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Did I lose you? There you are. Thought I lost you for a minute. Man, that's incredible. I've heard your story several times, and it doesn't matter how many times I hear it. There's something I missed, or you're an inspiring person, man. I know you know that because everybody keeps telling you that, but it's the truth, brother. It's the truth.
Appreciate that, man. I want to give back. You know what I mean? Like people poured into me, and now it's like, pay it forward. So that's kind of my mission.
So, it's funny you say that because 9 times out of 10, if you heard somebody say that, you'd say, okay, yeah, right. Sure. But with Patrick Clark, I'm telling y'all, it's true. I'll never forget it. I think we were in Charlotte, and it was an NCE event. Shout out to Ron Musgraves. I asked you, man, why do you do this? Why are you giving away all this information? I was of the mindset that I've been doing this for 20 years. Maybe, I think it was probably 17 at the time. I've been doing this for 17 years. I'm not giving this stuff out. You're killing me, dude. Why are you doing this? Right. Yeah. And you completely changed my mindset. It took about 5 years for me to adjust, but 5 years later, you've changed my mindset. And I think what you said, correct me if I'm wrong, I know you got this right. You said, do you know what I'm trying to say? You say it. If you help enough people.
Yeah. So the Zig Ziglar quote, man, if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want in return. Not in a selfish way. I think it comes back with like the mission, the purpose, and like changing people's lives is like tenfold, man. Tenfold.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that segues really well into my next question for you. What is Sales Boost?
Yeah. So Sales Boost started off as a program for our licensees, right? We have 9 locations now. And so we started that off. So every year we can get together and talk about new trends, like what's working in the, dealing with customer service, right? Sales. And so I opened it up to the public shortly after that, like a year after that. I think we did our first one. And I was like, we need to open this up and bring people in and see what this community is doing. And so Sales Boost is now for home service companies. If you are going inside the home, or if you're doing quotes, doesn't matter what industry you're in, it's for the customer experience. And I think like genuine, not pushy sales, but becoming the expert in the industry that you're in to excel in, because sales, nothing happens in your company unless a sale is made, period. And so I knew when I was starting my business that I had to become a good marketer and a good sales person, but a consultant, not that sleazy sales person. Like I wanted a system that'll hold me accountable, hold my team accountable, that my 10-year-old could literally go through the steps and do a quote and have that customer saying, wow, there's value here. And so that's what I think Sales Boost is. I think it is a training course that is a system for somebody to follow to get the entrepreneur salesperson to think bigger and close, double their average ticket by doing what we're doing.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. So you said the thing about your 10-year-old doing the job. So that's one of the things I like to preach the most. I have a systems mindset. I'm not a C if you follow the DISC assessment. So that means I'm not good at following through with my systems, but I do like to create the systems. Actually, I'd probably be the worst at following through with the systems. If my wife's watching right now, she's probably smiling,
Right.
or flipping me the bird, one or the other.
Because we're crazy entrepreneur, right? Like you're like, I
Crazy.
don't do that.
Crazy. I'm not doing that. No, it's crazy. But it's interesting you said that, because I call it the McDonald's philosophy. I know I picked that up from somewhere. I shouldn't try and claim it, but I picked that up from somewhere. It's the McDonald's philosophy, where everything is easily replicable and taught. And if you can scale a business with that in mind, sky's the limit.
Yeah. And that's funny you say that, because I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I think I picked it up from somewhere, and it was like, run your business like McDonald's. Or no, I'm sorry.
I know what you're going to do. I know where you're going.
Build it like McDonald's, run it like Chick-fil-A, right?
That's right. That's right. I think it was Michael Gregory. Didn't he say that?
I'm pretty sure. That's right.
I don't know. Michael says a lot.
Yeah, he does.
It's for you, Mike.
Dude, wealth of knowledge right there.
Dude, he's so smart. So smart. Yeah. So Michael was one of the speakers at Sales Boost. Man, I'm telling y'all, if you're in business, the home service-based space, can't say that twice, you got to make it to Sales Boost. This is not just a soft washing or pressure washing or window cleaning event. This is way broader than that. Kudos to you, man. Seriously, incredible. I'm not alone in that.
A lot of fun doing it, a lot of stress. As you can probably talk to my wife, I was freaking out the whole time, because it's about the experience. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted everybody to experience that.
Yeah. And Sheila, awesome job. Don't want to leave you out of this. I know you worked your tail off too.
Yep.
All right. So let's get to the ugly side of it. Tell me how all the hard stuff, the pain points, what was the difficult part about pulling this off?
So this is our first time actually doing it outside of our office, right? We kind of grew outside of our office, and we had a little bit of difficulties. I thought it'd be easier dealing with the hotel. Come to find out, our conference coordinator, her last day was like the day before the conference.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So talk about a heart attack. But it was really difficult dealing with, I think, the hotel. Not only that, was the AV guy. So the AV company that we used last year at our office was like, good to go. And then last minute, hey, I didn't realize I overbooked myself, but I have a bigger conference in Raleigh. I'm like, dang it. So I had to spin real quick to cast the vision, because again, like, we wanted to stage, we needed the feeling, because this isn't like your typical conference, right? It's about the experience. And I wanted that to be a feel through and through. And so we had to pivot, and thank God my good friend that I actually race with, I was like, dude, you know, an AV company, we need, we need this. And I kind of cast my vision. He's like, dude, I do that. And I'm like, and like you saw, like in the beginning, like this guy does production for ESPN. Like he runs the Clemson games. He does all, like, he's really good.
Oh, that's how you got the guy, the announcer. Man, he was epic. So good. Natural.
Dude. Yeah. J-Do, man. J-Do. So he crushes it. And that's another thing, like little things like that set the conference off, right? But he couldn't stay the whole time. So then that was a little bit more pressure on me, right? As to MC the whole last day. He couldn't stay the whole time. So it's like managing people, managing where these things go. Because, I mean, look at the schedule. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how we run through all these things. And being on time, like, that's the scary part too, is if you're not on time, it throws the whole day off, the whole conference. And so we end up getting the AV guy. That worked out really well. Still had to work out some kinks because he's never worked with us before. I think when you're doing events, like, you got to get somebody that you really click with, that understands how you run events, because there's not the same event. You know what I mean? Like, they're all different. And so we worked out some kinks in the very beginning. I told him this is the way I want it, like the way the music goes, the way the lighting is. There's definitely a science into it. And I'm still learning, obviously. I'm not perfect by no means, right? There was definitely some hiccups. We had last year we had buses. They were like, not like the big buses. They were smaller limo type party buses that we used last year. And I wanted that same feel because we had a lot of people this year. So shoot, dude, we had 2 56 passenger buses. They sent me pictures. These things were lights, AC works. No.
The AC works.
Yeah.
So one of the buses didn't even show up.
Didn't
Right?
even show up.
Wow.
Didn't even show up. But we pivoted, right? Like we pivoted. We went across the street. We were still able to accomplish all that. You know what I mean? And sometimes things happen behind the scenes that nobody knows about. You know what I mean? But for me, I would have been flipping out. My wife, got the call. She's like, do not call Pat. Do not call Pat, because I would flip my lid, because you want all these things. But, at the end of the day, like, it's not going to be perfect, right? I always say it's like that talk. You get up on stage, it's the one you prepared for, it's the one you think you're going to say, and then it's the one that you think you said, but then it's the one that people heard, right? And they don't know any different, but we have all that stress and burden on that. I just want to impact the people, right? I wanted to make a really good educational piece that they can take away executables and implement them,
Absolutely. So the caliber of speakers you had, incredible. I mean, Michael Gregory, dude, super impressive guy. Obviously, Tommy Mello, the $200 million. Oh, I'm sorry, is it 250? $250 million man. His target is what, 2 billion in 3 years or something, 4 years?
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Hard to even fathom. A1 Garage Doors. If you don't know that guy, stick around. You're gonna know him. He's making waves across the country, probably even the world, honestly. So you had some stellar speakers at this event, and that I think that was the thing I was most impressed with. Except for, I've got a word for you, and it's actually the first word in our core at our company, and it's intentional. Pat Clark is extremely intentional. I don't think you overlooked anything. I've never been to an event that was more detailed. That booklet that you printed out and provided everybody.
Yeah.
You've officially changed the game. If you don't do that and you're in this field, you're discounted. So now everybody has to do that. So you can thank Pat Clark if you put on an event in this industry. Pat has officially changed the game, because that alone was the coolest part.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I call it. This one is my copy, so you can see everything is literally labeled. I called it the Holy Grail. So we had the little thing, but I needed to know what was going on to keep that thing in check. But yeah, a lot of documents in there. We did the table tune-ups, which were cool. I wish we were able to do a couple more. We ran a couple little bit long, I guess you would say, on some of the speakers. So next year we do our after action report, which we did yesterday with my team. And so we're already working on next year's thing. We already have 6 speakers that are phenomenal. Which one, Santiago is going to be making an appearance next year.
Santi.
Yep. And then we got Megan Likes. Nice. She's going to be out there next year. So we're already bringing in some awesome people. And so we'll have some heavy hitters too at the end. So yeah, already working on it. Next year is going to be even more exciting, if you will. So
yeah, Matt Clark, he brought the heat, man. That was incredible too. I don't want to leave anybody out. All of your speakers were truly incredible.
They were, and I'll run down the line, man. Kirk Kempton, right? Me and Kurt. That was we've never done that before. That was a blast, right? He brought a huge fire. Then we got John Majak, right? Mindset. And that was the thing too. Is like it's not all about business. It's about what your why is, right? Like you said, being intentional. What you want to do. Is it for your family? Do you want to travel? Do you want to get out of sales to go on vacation? So we talked about that. And then Dan Plata. Dan Plata brought it. Everybody liked a little bit of Dan Plata. That was hilarious.
So listen, I want to shout out to Dan. Dan, if you watch this, which you probably won't, but that's okay. Dan is who Dan is, and he never apologizes for it. And his authenticity is the reason he's found success, in my opinion. But Dan is the one that helped me really get the ball rolling. I called him with some advice for this podcast. And I feel like his guidance helped me unroll. So thank you, Dan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude.
So what's next for Pat Clark and Sales Boost?
Man,
give me the secrets. Give me the big stuff.
The big stuff. So we are working on Sales Boost Nitro, which we're going to be launching in the next month. That's going to be an online course. We had Sales Boost, the original one. You get that included in Nitro, and Nitro is going to go more in depth on sales systems, and holding your team accountable. That's going to be an awesome online program. And man, we haven't technically officially launched it yet or said anything about it, but hey, Trevor, I got nothing but love for you, man. So we're going to be launching the Sales Boost Mentor program. And yeah, so we'll be rolling that out.
Don't cut it short. Don't cut it short with a yeah. Keep it
That's
coming.
all I can.
No, you got more. You got more. All right. Well, the mentor program, that's interesting, man. You've certainly been a mentor to most of this industry at this point. So it's a logical next step in my mind.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the pain, man. Let's talk about this. That's what this podcast is really about. It's called Through the Noise for a reason, because I'm not going to give my story. That'll be another day. But, we go through lives and we tell ourselves a story, essentially, of who we are. And it's a constant communication, whether you're aware of it or not. It's in your subconscious and it's happening all the time. It's happening right now. I'm looking at myself on the screen. I'm like, okay, how's my hair? I do have immaculate hair. So let's move on past that. But, other things, I'm like, okay, the lighting I've got up here, is that okay? Have I done everything right? And then, you're stupid. What are you doing? You're not good enough for this. And I know we've talked about imposter syndrome specifically with you in the past. Tell us a little bit about that and maybe how you overcome it. And
yeah, man. So it's a challenge, right? It's a daily, weekly challenge, because you're like, who am I to be doing what we're doing, right? Who am I to be on this podcast, right? And we dealt with it. Me and my wife dealt with it. Like when we started making money in our business, it was scary. It was like, I didn't want to make more money than any of my family members. And we had to deal with that. As we started making money, it was scary, but I think it limited us because we didn't want to keep pushing. We were afraid to, right? And so we had this whole thing, and I think it's our upbringing, money can change you, right? And me personally now, I think it just, whatever's in your heart, it just expands, right? So money helps with that. And if money is used correctly, it can be a very, very good tool to impact your communities, your friends, your team members, and so on, right? And so we didn't think that way, though, in the beginning. It was like, oh, shoot, we're going to make money. People are going to look at us different. And it was scary to do that. But now, you know what I mean? It's like, no, we're using money to impact, people. And there's things that we do that we don't publicly announce, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, we're doing this or we're doing that. But I do want to encourage people, you know what I mean, to impact their communities, give school supplies and do charity type things. But again, like as I was going through this stuff and I started speaking at events, and people were like, dude, you made $1 million. And yeah, we did, but through a lot of pain and suffering. It's not like it doesn't happen overnight. You know what I mean? It's a lot of tweaking. And there was years too that we made $1 million, but guess what? We had nothing to show for it, right? Because growth is expensive. And people are like, dude, you're making all this. You got all these trucks. Well, I literally just sat down with our insurance agent, really good friend of ours. And he's like, dude, you're paying $50,000, $60,000 a year in insurance. You know what I mean? And it's like, holy cow. So like you see this thing, and I call it fake book, right? You might be on Facebook. Yeah. And you're like, dude, you see the highlight reel, right? It's all fake. You know what I mean? Right. They don't see the blood, sweat, and tears. They don't see the crying, you know what I mean? And the hurt, right? From like your team members. Hey, I just had death in the family. Like you are the leader of that organization, that you have to be their sounding board a lot of times. Right. Or if they like, dude, I can't make my mortgage payment. Sucks, right? But we have a huge responsibility as a leader, and you have to foster that in the right way, because you could go the wrong way, right? And so I think, with that imposter syndrome, the way I kind of overcame that was, man, my savior, right? Lord Jesus Christ. It's like, I'm here for a reason. Like literally, I don't know how I'm not dead, to be honest, because I've done crazy things. I've been in accidents, right? And I think I'm here for a reason to really impact people. You know what I mean? And it's like every day is like kind of like it's like, dude, I'm still here. You know what I mean? And for my kids and my family, and I need to give them a runway and create that legacy for them. And you're right, like intentional, but also like you have to have the grit. You got to have the Goya, right?
Right.
You can get out and make it happen because it's not going to happen for you. Now, yes, the Lord will open doors for you and he'll put you in spots where you need to be. But at the end of the day, are you going to take advantage of that opportunity? Are you going to execute on it? Or are you going to be like, nah, I'm kind of comfortable where I'm at.
Right.
And so it's scary as crap, dude. Like when I do these events, I'm shaking like when I go up on stage, because if I say the wrong thing, or if I do this podcast and I say the wrong thing, or whatever it may be, at the end of the day, it's like, it's not about me. It's about who's watching this podcast. It's about you, Trevor, putting on this podcast to impact other people. It's not about us. We just happen to be the guy that's spreading the message. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I can only do as good as I can,
Man, dropping the heat.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, because I'm going to get super personal on you. I hope you're okay with that. And if you're not, just say no.
Open book, man.
You've told me in the past, actually, I think I've heard you say it on stage. You brought it up. Talk to me about your father. Talk to me about what that means to you and how it's impacted your decisions.
So I get my uncle asked me all the time. So my dad was never in the picture, right? I was born, I think he was there for a little bit and then he bounced, right? My mom had a mental illness, so he just left us. So it was me, my mom, and my grandma. And my dad was never there. So like I had to work on my bicycle by myself. I had to fix the radio by myself. I had to figure out how to fix the door when it was broken for my mom because it was falling off the hinges or whatever it may have been. So TV was like my best friend, right? I figured out things on watching TV, and I guess it helped a little bit because I got creative. I made some crazy bikes. I had like the wheelie machine. I'd go down to the trailer park and I would be that guy. I'd dumpster dive, right? And I found a lawnmower with 3 wheels on it. I would put a new wheel on it. It was rusted off. I put a plate on there, sheet metal screws, and that's how I started mowing lawns. And so, not having a dad growing up, I think, that male figure in your life, I'm not going to use it as a crutch by no means, right? I think my best friend, Eric, his dad was a big influence on me. He got me to go to church and I saw how he was, teaching his kids, and I was always over there. And I think the trailer park helped with that, because there was obviously dads around and I would be messing around. He's like, you can't be doing that. I was like, oh, well, nobody told me that. But on the other hand I didn't have a dad to whoop up on me, right? Back in the day. So I got into trouble. I got into a lot of trouble. Breaking windows, stealing, just things. I hung out with the wrong crowd, but then on the other side, I saw bad dads. I would go to work with a friend from the park and dude had a crack pipe right in the car. And he's like, we'd be on the way to work. He's like, dude, hit that. It's freaking somebody's dad. You know what I mean? And so I've kind of seen it both ways, but my uncles ask me all the time, do you want to go meet your dad? And I'm like, nah, dude, he was never there. Like, why would I want to meet him now? Right. At this point, never had a dad. It's fine. But on the other flip side of that is now that I'm a dad, I want to be the dad that I never had. I want to be the dad that's like, hey, let's go work on the dirt bike. Let me show you how to do it. Right. Let's go work on a car. Let me show you how to change a tire. And so for my kids, and I might break down a little bit, but for my kids, I just want to be that light, if you will, for them and create a legacy for them.
Pat, I've told you this several times before. In my mind, you're such an incredible father. I mean, I can't tell you how many events I went to and you brought your kids with you. And I can't even imagine bringing my kids to an industry event. That just the oversight required. It's not, I'm about to lie to myself. This is the lies part. I'm about to say that I'm not built for it, but I am who I say I am. So if I say I'm built for it, I'm built for it. So you're an inspiring person to me, man. The way you are with your family and your kids, incredible. And I think everybody that's ever seen you with your family would agree with that. Starting a business, let's talk about that. Starting a business with your son, how cool is that? Using your influence to go ahead, speak to that. Let's lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, man. So me and my wife were always talking about how we could do something with the kids, right? Get them involved, teach them business, teach them bookkeeping, teach them the backside. And I was trying to think of something because we got real blessed with a property with a barn, and we're like, maybe we can shift something from the house. So I always called our cleaner that we use for gutters, Gutter Butter. And I was like, you know what we need to do is we need to bring this to market for our kids, and they could bang on the lids. Like they can put the stickers on the things, you know what I mean? So at that time, Noah and Greta were like 5 and 6. And so we brought Gutter Butter to the market. And this is why I love this industry so much, is like, people pour into you, and I think a lot of people are like, dude, you're getting your kids involved. And they just like jumped on it. They were like, bring them to the event. You know what I mean? Like we had a Gutter Butter booth. They ran the booth. Like everybody was buying little Gutter Butter stickers. And my kids are like, this is awesome, right? And we had to teach them work. You know what I mean? So we were paying them, like, I forget, me and my wife sat down. It was like 25 cents a label, right? As they put it on, because we wanted them to have the folder system where they can earn, they give, and they save, and then they have an invest. Mm-hmm. And we would teach them the folder system. And, the other thing was I didn't want to give them too much because I don't want it to be handed to them, right? Nothing was handed to me. They have to earn it, and they have to take it, how they want. And so that's what they did. They're like, I want to do this. And they would split it up, and they would like work as a team. I got these 10 buckets, and, and it was cool to see them,
awesome,
going through their brain. So it was really cool.
Dude, that's epic. Yeah, I remember seeing them running around with the little Gutter Butter stickers. If you don't know what Gutter Butter is, it is a deoxidizing soap for gutter cleaning. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep. For oxidations, you get the black streaks. We call them tiger stripes. That's what it's for. It also cleans your rims really good. So we clean our truck rims with it. It leaves a little coating on there so the brake dust doesn't stick. So it's a diversified cleaner, I would say, degreaser.
Where do we go to buy it? Give yourself a plug.
So you can go, we'll go to powerwashstore.com. You can go to what is it? Michael Hindeleiter, powerwash.com. So we have Jay Racenstein is another one. Soft Wash Systems.
Soft Wash Systems.
And LNH in Savannah. So depending on where you are in the country, you can pretty much ask your supplier, and we're trying to get more suppliers. So if you guys are buying soaps or whatever from somewhere and they don't have Gutter Butter, be like, dude, we need to get Gutter Butter at your local store.
Get Gutter Butter, man. That stuff works like magic. Clients love to see it. It's an easy add-on. So at the end of the job, my guys are like, hey, the streaks, they don't come off in a normal cleaning process, but we have this product we use, and they love to watch it. I mean, it's like a dry erase board. So let's talk about tell me, on Gutter Butter, on the packaging, I think it says packaged by, and then I think it says Greta in handwriting. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So that's where we wanted to have their names on it, because that's what they're doing. They're writing their name Greta in it. So now they did it until they couldn't do it anymore, right? So they were writing their names on there. So we got Greta and we got Noah on there. And then Logan and Abigail are too older, doing like the back behind the scenes stuff. So if you comment on the Gutter Butter Facebook page, that's Abigail on there, writing you back. So we have that.
That's awesome.
And now we do have it to where they wrote their names, and it is systemized now. So all the labels are printed with their names now because they couldn't keep up. So we really appreciate the love from everybody on Gutter Butter.
All right. I'm looking at comments on Facebook. Andrew Snyder, Pat is a true inspiration to all. His success shows us he is doing the right things in life. Pretty cool. Thanks, Andrew.
Appreciate that.
Let's open this up for some Q&A. It looks like we've got about 6 or so people live. So if anybody has a question, we'll just kind of give you a few minutes to pop in here and ask us a question. Ask Pat a question. Pat's the expert. And we'll just kind of hang out for a minute, talk about something else. Talk about
you know what today is, right? I'm about to go drag racing.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
Yep. I got the drag slicks on the car. So that's one of my things, man. I remember talking to Josh Latimer like 5 years ago, and he's like, well, what's your thing, man? What's your thing to de-stress? Because we got a lot of things, right? And so riding dirt bikes and ATVs and racing cars. And I used to race drag race motorcycles, but I sold that one. But yeah, I just get out on Thursday nights. I'll bring, Logan with me, and he'll come out and see the different cars. And it's nothing like, man. And that's where Sales Boost came from, was like racing. You know what I mean? We do the table tune-ups, it's kind of derived around racing. But dude, when you line up for that line and it's going yellow, yellow, green, from there, I guess you'd say 7.9 seconds later, there's not a care in the world.
Yeah, except surviving, right? Don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, you can have that. So that's not for me, buddy. I think I would be the one that did die. So I'm just going to stay away from that world, and maybe I'll watch you do it. Let me jump on here, see if there's any questions. I lost. Let's see. Landon says, Pat, I think you're killing it, brother. I'm trying to follow your lead in business and with family. JC, what's up, gents? JC, what's up, brother?
What up, JC?
Okay, he wants to know, Landon is asking if you can talk about being a SWS applicator and if it has helped your business or not to get to where you are today. Do you know what he's talking about?
SWS applicator. Not sure. Soft wash systems applicator? Maybe soft wash systems applicator?
Not sure.
Not sure.
Let's move on. Yeah, he corrected it. So let's start to close this out. We've been on about 40 minutes, so we're kind of pushing the number of people's attention span.
That's right.
Let me ask you this, Pat. Where is Pat in 5, 10, 15 years?
So I think our 10-year goal is to put more licensees on the road. We definitely want to have more locations where we have a larger community in that. Great group of guys right now, and we're looking to expand that. So we want to put more licensees on the road. And I think, Sales Boost, our 10-year for that is going to be definitely having a larger community in there that we're impacting. But I think it's going to be a complement to other. It's not a coaching program. It's going to be a mentoring program where this is something you can just bolt on, and it's going to be for your sales team or whoever's doing the sales. I think that's going to be a great program for a lot of people to help them with their sales. But for me, man, I'm not trying to slow down, right? I do want to have more family time. We're going to carve out more vacations, more bus trips across the country as a family. I do want to be where we're not going to own a service company. We're going to be over all the companies, right? as far as injecting a little bit of Pat Clark, if you will, right into there and helping. And I can work from anywhere in the country. So that's the goal, is kind of going remote, kind of on the road. That's our 10-year, right? Where we can focus more on family, but also have the businesses doing really well.
Cool. So let me ask you this, because I can recognize it, and I certainly can feel this way sometimes. Are you ever embarrassed to tell people how big your plans are?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
Come on, give me more. Give me more.
No, like, because, and the reason being is, it's like, if I tell my big goals and my big things and they don't come true, like, it kind of stinks, right? Because you guys are going to see me in 10 years on this podcast and be like, what happened to that dream? You know what I mean? You're like, but it's okay, because seasons change. Like, your why will change throughout the journey. And I think that's a huge okay, right? Like, mine in the beginning was I wanted to break that $1 million, go over the $1 million, right? And it was all about me, in the beginning, and now it's impact over income. You know what I mean? Like, now I know my family's set, we're good. Now it's impacting other people to set up their families, because I think every one of us, right? Every one of us deserves that. We're created to make an impact. Each one of us, we all have our own story, and we all need to be doing things like this, because, it isn't glam and glamorous. It's a lot of pain and suffering. And we do have to sacrifice in the beginning family time, right? And then it's going to come back around tenfold. And then you'll have the time, because we all have the same amount of time in a day. We all put our pants on one leg at a time, right? It's just, how do you do it, right? How do you structure your day? Do you, like Josh Latimer says, do you slay your day, or does your day slay you? And love so it's just structure, man.
I think it was, Jordan Peterson. If you follow Jordan Peterson, you either love him or hate him. Oh, yeah. I personally think he's amazing, clearly intelligent. Nobody would argue that. He said you have to be careful who you tell good news to.
Yeah.
And I relate to that on a deep level. So any big plans you might have, be careful who you tell it to.
That's right.
You need to protect yourself. You need to protect your vision. You need to protect your calling, because it's yours. It's nobody else's. It belongs to you. So be careful who you tell that your good news to. Bad news is easy. Everybody wants to hear bad news, right? You're going to get what you're going to get when you give people bad news. They love to hear that stuff. Tell them how you failed. Oh, they love that. Eat it up. Eat it for breakfast. But tell them good news. They might not receive that so well.
That's 100%, 100%. And I think I'm going to kind of end with this, if you will, but me and my wife sit down and we make a dream board, and we put on there, like, we dream big, like, put on, you know what I mean? If you want a house, which we don't, but we want to stay in our house, but we want to, redo the kitchen, and we want to do some things like that. Like, we're about to do a whole remodel. We're moving our kitchen to the bigger part of our house. And so we have a dream board. I think it's really important with your spouse or your significant other, right, to sit down and dream together. And it's okay to dream together. And she might, have different dreams than you do, but she might be living your dream, right? I know for my wife, she did for a long time. She was supporting my dream. For sure. Now I want to support her dream. And I think it's really, really important to get on the same page. But you're right. Like, you got to be careful who you share that dream with, because they're like, what do you, that's a pipe dream, Pat, right?
Deflating. That's deflating.
It's deflating, right? Surround yourself with people that are like, dude, I'm genuinely excited for your dreams, man. Like, your goals and stuff. And so I have ones with, that we have, and then I put out a little bit of what we're doing every now and again. But you got to be very careful. You got to guard your mind, right? With what goes in. You are what you eat. You better be putting in good stuff daily, right? For you, for your mental, right? Because there's things out there that I'm not good enough. I should be here, right? No, you should be where you're at. Keep going. Keep fighting that good fight.
Be where your feet are. I struggle with that constantly. Yeah, for sure. Man, listen, Pat, you're one of the most inspiring people I know. I've enjoyed watching you blossom, watching your career. And I can promise you from the bottom of my heart, I'm one of those people rooting for you, man. So tell me all your good news anytime you want to, because I would love to hear it.
I really appreciate that. And I know that to be true, Trevor. Like, we've been getting closer and closer over the year, man. We're going to be hanging out more for sure. And dude, I'm honored to be here, man.
Just stay away from the beach, brother.
That's right. That's right.
All right, man. I love you so much. Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Right back at you.
Everything is all good, but first I gotta leave. Gotta travel on this map. Dear mama, please don't be worried, cause I promise I'll be back. I'm leaving here with nothing, returning with everything into my bro.